Hi, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Today let's talk about Akka Mahadevi's poem. Not one, not two, not three or four. Not one, not two, not three or four. Written by Akka Mahadevi. 1130, 1160. Akka Mahadevi's Not One, Not Two, Not Three or Four is a mystical Vajana poem that transcends the limits of number and form to express the boundless, formless nature of the divine consciousness. It reveals her intense spiritual realization that the ultimate truth represented by her deity, Chenna Mallikarjuna, cannot be confined by human categories, logic or dualities. The title, Not One, Not Two, Not Three or Four. The title itself is mystical and paradoxical, mirroring the Advaitic, that is non-dual philosophy underlying Akka Mahadevi's spiritual vision. By denying number and multiplicity, she denies the limitations of the human mind, which classifies and separates. The title suggests that the divine cannot be quantified, divided, or contained. It is beyond all categories, distinctions, and dualities. It implies that God, truth, or ultimate reality is neither one nor many. It simply is an infinite and indivisible consciousness. Inspiration to write the poem. Akka Mahadevi's inspiration for this Vajana arises from her direct mystical experience of the divine unity that it transcends form, gender, and a multiplicity. Her spiritual journey within the Veerashaiva, that is Linkayat tradition, led her to see the absolute, that is Chenna Mallikarjuna, as both immanent and transcendent, beyond description, language, or logic. This poem likely emerged from a moment of inner illumination where she realized that the divine cannot be confined within numbers, names, or forms. Not even the concept of oneness is sufficient to define it. Summary and analysis of the poem. Though vachanas are short and not formally divided, this poem can be interpreted in three symbolic moments or stages corresponding to the spiritual progression from multiplicity to unity and then to transcendence. First part, that is the rejection of multiplicity. Not one, not two, not three or four. Akka begins by denying the categories of number and division, an approach similar to neti-neti, that means not this, not that, of the Upanishads. This rejection signifies her break from material perception, the human tendency to separate, name, and a limit. It shows that the divine is beyond counting, gender, color, form, beyond any number or measure that the human intellect imposes. The phrase implies a universal negation, a stripping away of illusions and identities to uncover the infinite. Moving on to part second, there is the paradox of oneness. It is no shape, no color, no beginning, no end. Here, Akka Mahadevi describes the formless and eternal nature of the divine, using paradox and negation to express what cannot be spoken. The divine, that is Shiva, is not even one because calling it one still limits it within human thought. The poem reflects Advaita Vedanta and a Veerashaiva mysticism, where the absolute is beyond a duality. Neither existence nor non-existence, neither self nor other. The repetition of her negation serves to purify language and a consciousness, leading the devotee to silence and realization. It also emphasizes that truth cannot be conceptualized, only experienced. Moving on to part 3, that is the affirmation of the infinite. It is all, yet beyond all, the seen and unseen, my Lord Channamallikarjuna. Having rejected multiplicity and even singularity, Akka ends with an affirmation of totality and a transcendence. The divine is all that is immanent in every atom, yet beyond all, that means existing outside the reach of perception. The juxtaposition of immanence, that is presence in the world, and a transcendence, that means beyond the world, captures the essence of mystical realization. By invoking my Lord Channamallikarjuna, she personalizes the infinite, bridging impersonal truth and personal devotion. The closing line unites devotion, that is bhakti, with a non-dual awareness, that is jnana, a hallmark of Akka spiritual synthesis. Now let's have a look at the major themes expressed in this poem. First of all, we have the theme transcendence of duality. The divine is beyond a one or many, self or other, form or formlessness. Mystical negation. True understanding begins with a unleashing and a detachment from all categories. Ineffability of the divine. The absolute cannot be described through human words or logic. The next theme, unity of bhakti and jnana. Akka blends devotion with the philosophical realization, love and knowledge as one. Spiritual freedom. Liberation lies in dissolving all distinctions, reaching a state of pure awareness. The feminine mystic voice. She articulates the formless reality not through metaphysics, but through lived embodied experience. Now let's talk of the symbols used in the poem. Numbers 1, 2, 3, 4 represent a human attempts to quantify or classify the infinite. Negation, the tool for transcending illusion, the process of removing veils of false knowledge. Formless divine, the symbol of the unmanifested truth that pervades everything. Invocation of Channamallikarjuna, personal anchor amid the vast impersonal divine reality. Explanation of the title of the poem. The title, not one, not two, not three or four, encapsulates the paradoxical essence of spiritual realization that the divine cannot be defined even as one. It expresses the limitations of human language and points towards the truth that transcends intellect, accessible only through direct mystical experience. By rejecting every number, Akka affirms that the divine is beyond measure, beyond categories, the boundless consciousness that underlies all things. Now let's have a look at the key arguments of the poem. Reality transcends conceptual thought. Even oneness is too narrow to contain in. Spiritual truth is experienced, not described. Language and logic fall silent before the infinite. The divine is both immanent and transcendent, manifest and unmanifest. Self-realization and God realization are identical, for when duality disappears, only truth remains. Mystical wisdom begins with a negation, but ends in affirmation of totality, all and beyond all. Now let's talk about the poetic style. The poem is written in simple aphoristic free verse typical of Vachana style. It uses repetition and negation for emphasis and rhythm. Blends philosophical abstraction with a emotional intensity. Tone shifts from analytical denial to mystical wonder, ending in loving devotion. The current day relevance of the poem. First of all, philosophical relevance. The poem anticipates modern existential and a metaphysical thought that the ultimate truth is beyond words or categories. Spiritual relevance. It speaks to seekers of all faiths who seek a direct experience over doctrine. Feminist relevance. Akka's voice embodies the female philosopher mystic asserting her authority in a male-dominated tradition. Psychological relevance. The negation of one or many mirrors the ego's dissolution in meditative or self-realized states. Literary relevance. The poem is a bridge between poetry and philosophy, influencing later mystic writers in Kannada and beyond.